of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar, Lifeguarding with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date, what's today's date? Today is August the 30th, the year of our Lord 2022. And we have the whole crew here today. And we have Tyler. Want to say hello, Tyler? We have Mr. DeVoe. And he's one of our, he was here, he's our returning guest. And we have Sean.
Hello.
So Sean's here.
That's Nico DeVoe, by the way, for anyone who
Nico
didn't catch
DeVoe.
that.
So there he is. And we got a few things we're going to talk about today. The guys put something up on a board there. So 2022 Atlantic hurricane season we're going to talk about. And what else you got up there?
Did you hear about Biden forgiving us for $20,000 of our student debt?
Just lifeguards.
Just the lifeguards.
Yeah,
if you're a lifeguard,
I really want your take on that,
right?
Kachmar.
And then Dolphin Fat Boys, and then what's the one on the bottom there?
Rutgers Wrestling takes Seaside Heights.
So let's start with the wrestling. Let's start in the bottom and go up. So when was this? When did the Rutgers wrestling team come and work out with the Seaside Heights?
I would say about
Beach
2
Show?
weeks ago. What's today? The 29th, 28th?
Right. So they set this up.
30th.
And, well, let's just go back. So anyway, for people who are just tuning in for the first time, this is a lifeguard video podcast. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Rumble. I like our Rumble. We're on Facebook and then Spotify and Apple Podcast. And you guys could get a hold of us if you want to send us an email at drkachmar at iCloud.com. Can you put that up, Tyler, by any chance? And
drkachmar at iCloud.com.
Yep, there it is right there. Nope. That's Jersey Shore Foot and Leg, but there's one more above that. So if you guys want to send us an email sometime, it's DR. Can you put it back up, Tyler?
So we had the Rutgers Wrestling Team
Wait, hold on.
team.
I want to tell these people. Wait, don't interrupt me.
We don't need
we got to start talking. People
no,
know.
But people can't.
We already started the conversation.
Doesn't matter. But hang on a second. DR Kachmar at iCloud.com. People need to hear it on the what do you call it, on the Spotify. All right, so let's talk about the Rutgers. So, who wants to talk about it?
We worked out with them a little bit. We had them come on, and they had someone do a sick edit of all of us.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet.
You have not. I have.
All I know is I woke up that morning and Cap had posted like 20 videos of the Rucker wrestlers on
he's a big
Beach
fan.
Patrol Seaside Heights Instagram.
So make sure that if there's any music,
Cap
mute
went
it.
to Rutgers.
I thought he was he the coach, Kachmar? What was Cap's affiliation with Rutgers Wrestling?
I don't really know. I don't.
Cap was a stud athlete, dude.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was.
All right, is this it right here? Oh, I got a screen share.
Yeah, and then
Let's
do me
go.
a favor. Make sure you mute it so we don't have any copyright things. We got hit for a couple copyright things.
I've been letting you guys know, and y'all been playing sound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well.
now we're muting things. So let's get this Rutgers. Here it is here. So you might. I don't know if there's any music on it, but
So we stretched. This is the stretch. This is the beginning of the video, and then this was the second thing we did. Pause it, Tyler. It was like
sorry.
It was a weights and sprint drill. So we did weights on one end, and you'd sprint to the other side. It was teams of two, like 30 of us or more.
can you make it bigger, Tyler? Also,
We did like kettlebell swings and squats on one end and push-ups on the other. Sprint like 30 yards in between. This is the push-up section.
all right. So let it go because it's really edited really well. So let's just let it go now all the way through because it gets into a really,
So this was the last thing we did. It was like a wrestling shoot, which is like how they go for takedowns.
You weren't kidding, man. It really edited all the lifeguards out of this.
I know.
Were you doing the wrestling stuff?
I'm doing it all. I'm just not in the edit.
Kyle doesn't count because he is a lifeguard that also wrestles for Rutgers.
So yeah, these guys were on the beach.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
They
what
were
gonna
hand
say?
fighting by the water and then sprinting up when they like hand fighting for like 20, 30 seconds, and then someone would shout and they would.
Here's your
run
beach
up.
flags. This
Here's
is
beach
great.
flags.
This is pretty cool. Did you guys make them do entries, swim a buoy?
No, they weren't allowed to swim. It was a little bit of a rough day. They were afraid they would drown.
You think they're speeding that video up?
No, they're not.
No, they're slowing it down a little bit. No, yeah, look at that. Oh, that's a good move right there, man.
This is probably the coolest beach flags that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, they also
There's Vinny.
there's
That's our
Vinny.
guy.
Oh!
That's Vinny. That's Vinny. That's one of our guys.
they also like clearly know how to like grab at each other because I don't
Yeah.
ever see anyone do stuff like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, look at that,
Sean,
look at that.
you
Oh.
said before we went on that you would dice these guys up in beach flags. I don't know about that.
I would
Yeah,
stand
well,
by it.
What about you,
So-
Nico?
well, you had Vinny. So that was really nice. That was a nice thing. So so we
Go Rutgers Wrestling.
yeah, that was a really nice one.
Go Kyle Epperly, represent.
Yeah. Yeah, we have quite a bit of wrestlers. Yeah, so the last captain we had, Al Ayers, he was a big time wrestler. He is a Jackson, I don't know,
Native?
administrator. Yeah, he worked in Jackson, but I think he wrestled for Central Regional. Rob
Hey.
Connors was Jackson, and we had a lot of guys. Doug Parise, who was one of our officers, was I think the head wrestling coach at Temple University. It goes on and on. We've always had a lot of wrestlers on our beach patrol.
Doug Priest is such a sick artist.
Yeah, he's real good. He's real good. But we really like that. I just wanted to show you one of the things here. Rob Connor sent me a couple pictures from a few days ago.
Doug
So you
Priest
want-
doesn't have
just-
a
yeah.
website, does he?
No,
No,
can
I
you
feel like
just,
none of his stuff's available online.
That's
Tyler, can you give me my put my iPhone back up, lower up to the top? Okay. This is just a quick. I love how this guys did this. Let me see if I get this on here. Hang
That
on.
sound.
That's all right. The sound. Look at this. Bang. The longest roller.
Is that Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah, look. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
there.
do that again. We do one more. Let me see if I could get it here where I don't know how to do this, where I'm going to get it. There it
I
goes.
have no
Bang.
idea how other beaches
Bang.
move their boats. Is
They
this-
have dollies. Some people have dollies. Some carry them. You know, when you do
Honestly,
this,
you
you
get
hurt the bottoms. You hurt the bottoms.
Oh yeah. If you get 6 guys,
you can
You
carry.
carry
it
it.
you can just
easily.
carry it.
Yeah.
I'll
yeah.
tell you what.
Watch one more. Here you go. Look at this. I love this. Bang. Bang. The boat really, if you look at it, the boat really didn't even touch the sand.
Yeah,
that was
that's
pretty
pretty
good. You know, you have a lot of rollers. Those rollers, by the way, are very expensive. So that was a great thing. So here, one more time. We'll see.
Well, they're just
Bang.
they're bumpers, right?
They're fenders. They're called fenders, boat fenders. You put
Yeah.
them on the side of the boat so the boat don't hit a dock, or when it hits the dock, it hits the fender.
Mm-hmm.
But you could carry the boats. You could. There's some beaches have dollies that with the wheelchairs that we have, the beach wheelchairs. You could do the same thing. So let me give you one more here. I think that's pretty neat. You know, it's. Let me give you one more archive here. Let me just see. So this one here, Rob sent us, and I don't know if this is the same one or not. Yeah, look at that. Let's just build that. Look at these boats are so beautiful. I just had my boat redone, and it is Seaside Heights. I think that's a beautiful. They're beautiful. They're just absolutely beautiful pictures. Beautiful boats. You know, you look at them and you just wow. They got such nice lines to them. So anyway, I just so we had a little stuff with Seaside. We had Rutgers
Cashmere,
there.
do you know why the Van
Can we
Dynes
go to me,
catch?
please?
Do you know why the
You're still on
Van?
this. You got to get rid of this.
Do you know why the Van Dynes have the lines on the sides of them? The slots.
Well, that's from the boards. It was made out of wood. It was they take the mold from the woods.
Yeah, it was originally a wooden
Right,
boat.
right.
They
And
molded and they never changed it out for.
I actually, Lavalette used to have boats made by Hankins, and when you build a boat like that, you overlap the wood, and then you screw them, and then you cork them, and you put what do you call it, like this putty in there.
Yeah, like an epoxy.
Yeah, and that's how they built boats. And then that was the beginning. Then later on, they started riveting them, like the Titanic. You know, they were laid panels, but they were riveted. Then you had, of course, just to weld it. And anyway, but the boats were all wood. So what they did is they took the boat, they made the mold. I think that was great. Instead of making it just like a bathtub, it gives the lines and it gives it stability.
It looks
too.
like it looks more like a boat too, like visually. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, what
how
they used to,
describe that.
I tell you what they used to do also is they used to make a wooden boat and then fiberglass the outside. So
That
they did
sounds
that
heavy.
first. Yeah, it was. They did that first. I don't think they had the ability to do molds and everything. So when fiberglass first came out, and Seaside Heights, it was Van Dyne Brothers, and John Van Dyne, who I met, he's passed away now. His son runs the business. But I met him, and he made one of my boats. I think it was in '95, and I had him make a custom Van Dyne boat for me. But they were the first. We were the first beach patrol, from what I understand. And this was told to me personally by John Van Dyne multiple times, that Seaside Heights was the first beach patrol to take a risk on fiberglass boats. and it was in the 60s. Somewhere in the 60s, I don't remember. So you think about that. Maybe it was even later. The date I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but I know we were the first beach that, these guys. I guess they decided, hey, we're going to go with a fiberglass mold. Can you think about that? That was revolutionary.
Yeah,
And,
makes sense too. More durable and more buoyant.
Right, but a lot of people didn't understand or know about fiberglass. I can tell you one thing: the boat lasts a lot longer. We got boats on our beach that are 20, 30 years old that are fiberglass, and I mean,
1962.
62 they first came out. Wow. And
No, that's when we got ours.
so then that was the first time they made it, 62. And I remember when I first lifeguarded, we had Van Dynes, we had Van Sants, we had some wooden boats, but I remember the Lavalette boats, which were Hankins boats, and they were really they were very deep, very high, and all wood, and sometimes you crack them there, and the wood would just split.
Nico got a nice row in today.
Mm-hmm.
Nico's
far did
been
you go?
rowing. You've been rowing a lot.
I've been trying to get better. I had
Yeah.
a
See
couple,
that. I noticed.
Scary
Do you
moments with,
do you want to tell everybody about your first time in the boat with
you.
me?
Yeah, I was scared to go in the boat, so I trusted Tyler to take me out, and he basically flipped it on my first time going out.
Nice.
Stayed
Dude,
away.
he comes running up to me and he's like, it was like they had given us, whatever, you got to row this today. And he runs up and he's like, dude, like, I'm really nervous. Like, you're really the only person I feel comfortable going out with. And I'm like, yeah, I got you, bro. And we launch, I hop in, and like, we didn't even get like 2 strokes in before we just ended up completely sideways and just pushed back onto the sand.
Damn.
Yeah, Nico, it took a while for you to get back in the boat after that.
Yeah, I don't think I went back in the boat till next summer.
Oh, I saw, right, that today, after you launched, you hopped into the bow seat.
I did.
Was that because that dude was talking shit on Instagram?
No, that was actually because of Kachmar. I rode with Kachmar a couple of days ago, and he told me when I launch, row out from the stern, and then once you get out there, you switch to the bow.
Yeah.
Right? So I
Yes.
gave it a
That's how you
shot.
got to do it.
Right. So let me give you it's a good point, and everybody has a technique, but here's the thing: the boats are made for 2 people, and they work the best that way. That's why there's 2 seats, and those boats are designed where if 2 good rowers are in that boat, you could get out in a northeast storm, and I say I'm not bullshitting because I have, and people have. I mean, it's not easy. And you may take a few times, but you get out there. The thing is, when you launch the boat, if you're one person, you go in the stern, you have the keel, and what happens is the boat kind of sinks down, but the bow goes up a little bit. So it's not the best thing when there's wind, but you want to get in that seat real quick and get the boat out because now your bow's up a little bit. So if you're going out through waves, right? It's like planed up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then once you get through the waves, whatever they are, you get in the bow, and it's a better seat to row in. It's more balanced.
Less wind affects you.
Right, because you're not, and you're straight, and the gunnels and everything is a little bit wider, and it's a nicer seat. What's interesting is, and also like if it's when I come in, I do the same thing. I go in the stern. I like to go bow first and ride a wave. And it's hard to ride a wave in the bow, but you can. But what was the point I was going to make? Yeah. The other thing, too, is we always hit the waves. When we're going out on waves, we always hit the wave on an angle. This is I learned, if you hit the wave straight on, it supposedly doesn't cut. I don't know the dynamics, but I was always taught a little bit of an
You
angle.
definitely go up more if you hit it straight on, like the
Yeah,
boat.
yeah, you
like
cut it. You do a little sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of technique. I took this young fellow out, and I was trying to show him some technique. A lot of people use their arms too much. You need to if you really tell you the guys and the gals who are unbelievable rowers of South Jersey, they have it down because they make rescues with the boats. They've used the boats for such a long time, and they really have it down. We have one lifeguard now who came back, Jacobus, and when he rides the boat, he does it very similar to Junie Boyd. And you got to have the right kind of waves. But if with the right kind of waves that are not really, big, you could just stand on the back of the stern and use your body English and surf the boat like a giant surfboard. You actually can. It's amazing. And he does that sometimes. You need the oar to what do you call it? angle a little bit. My boat has 2 cutouts in the back of the stern. I don't know if you guys seen it. So you could drop an oar in there. It's very easy to do. But anyway, that's good, Nico. So you went to the bow, and it's just more comfortable. But one thing about rowing, you just got to keep doing it and doing it and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of technique and getting in and out. So did you enjoy it, Nico?
I did. I had a good road today.
Yeah.
I went all the way to the end of South End and then back to Fremont, so I got a nice decent row in.
Yeah, you work on your technique. I was telling him he was putting his blades in too deep. You don't need to put the oar in any deeper than your blades. Anything else is waste. And we used to feather them, and we used to actually back in the day we used to have these Formica seats, and then we would soap up our butts and put the bathing suit up our crotch, like a thong.
Yeah, you lube it up.
And we would slide. And it's
How
amazing.
much of a difference is feathering your oars really making?
Well, if you do a 5 mile, you know what? I don't know, but I tell you what, these right now, these guys with the oars, the ones that you could buy now, they're the wooden oars. They swear that the other oars, the ones that we had years ago, I can't think of the name of the company,
Carlisle.
Carlisle. Yeah, they believe that those oars are so much better and faster. I mean, when you're talking,
Sounds like we should take up making oars.
yeah, well, but when you talk about
somebody
these long
should.
races, there's a lot of science behind it. There's like you have 8.5 oars, then you have 9s, then you have 9.5, and then that's the length, and then you also have different blades. How big the blade is, and these guys and gals, depends on the water, the race, the wind, the waves. They'll titrate these oars. And it can make a difference, because some of these races you're talking maybe seconds. So when you say feathering, a long race.
Well, like the place I'm coming from is whenever I've done that, I've noticed like my forearms just burn out so quickly from constantly.
Well, you got to train, and I mean I think that the crews, the crew rowing, they feather, but. We used to sit with
right.
when I used to do all these tournaments and competition. We would get these little Ouijas. They're called. They're like little.
The spring bodybuilder.
Right. We would sit hours on a stand and just bing, 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 and use them. And I would never lose my forearms, even in 5 mile races. Because you train for it. And the other thing too is you can't hold the handles. What we do with those oars, they're too thick, so we grind them down. And, of course, we put the fire hose on the oars. But you got to get a sweet spot with the handle. You really shouldn't be holding the handle real tight. Anyway, so what else? What else we want to go to? What else you want to talk about? You want to go to the whiteboard? Or?
Yeah, I thought
You want to talk? We'll go up. Dolphin, Fat Boys.
There's a Dolphin Frat Boys article. I thought the lubing up the boat would have been a good segue, but we kept going on that topic.
So the lubing up in the boat? Yeah.
Dolphins...
Yeah, go ahead.
Dolphin males use each other to wingmen to attract mates by acting out or just like playing in front of the females to get their attention, similar to how frat boys
team up.
and honestly lifeguards they
Team
team
up, like they go instead of
one on one.
Say the 4 of us were dolphins, right? Like flipping around in front of South End. We wouldn't be competing for female attention. We'd be like helping each other out, like like the same way that frat boys are doing.
But what's a female dolphin looking like in a other, like a?
Well, you know what I
catch
do.
more fish.
You know what I do think about
what
sometimes.
do you think they play with? Like, do you think they like a dolphin that is willing to play or ride the waves, or?
I don't know, but I've seen them do that. I've seen dolphin ride waves. I've seen them come up to us. They're very curious.
Yeah, they're definitely smart.
I've seen them ride waves. I've seen them when we were rowing. There was many times where you'd have like 3, 4, 5, 6 boats out and paddle boards and the lifeguards. One of those mornings where it's like kind of real calm, and they would come up and putz around near the boats, play around. It's weird. Haven't seen that much, but we used to see a lot of that. So there was a lot of interaction. But it's neat when they ride waves. That's just the only reason they're doing it is they're playing.
What if that's them being frat boys though?
Yeah, it might be showing off.
They could be.
Well, look at peacocks. I mean, there's a lot of animals that. I mean, I watch those shows where the birds, they go and they do all kinds of things. You ever see a peacock when they put their feathers and they?
Yeah.
I mean,
do you guys ever wonder about beauty standards in the animal kingdom? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, what makes a dolphin hot?
Yeah.
Like what? Like to the eye. Like say
That's a
you're a
bit
male
yeah.
dolphin and you're like checking out a girl. Like what is he looking for?
Yeah, who knows? But maybe
A
like you
a
said.
big dorsal fin. I
A
don't
big
know.
like yeah. Is that like having a big nose? Is that like an unattractive thing?
Yeah.
And like I don't know. What's your take on this, Nico?
I don't think they care.
You don't think they care?
No.
You think
They're
they're
not
just
that
trying
smart.
to?
I just yeah.
What about just like the biggest female dolphin? So their offspring is strong.
Well, so anyway, your
Yeah,
frat.
do they think like that, or is it like she's hot and
I think they're
I'm
just
about
looking
it?
for a partner.
So they call here. New study has discovered what articles a fat
well,
boy culture. Okay,
Let's dive deep.
here go
Let's dive
into this.
deep. All right.
Bromance leads to romances for the ocean's horniest species.
Okay. Here we go.
That was in Nature.
So
Okay.
this is the article that we got this information from.
So it says, read it. Yeah, it's
I got
pretty
it.
interesting.
So we don't normally like to read entire articles. We've done that a couple
trying to get
times,
away
and
from that,
it's like boring as hell, I'm sure, for everybody. But I think this one's worth reading. A new study has discovered a frat boy culture in dolphin society to rival our own. Beyond humans, researchers say dolphins are the only species known to form such complex, cooperative, quote, bromances. Other animals like chimpanzees show fierce male rivalry in their bid to mate with females. Their interactions don't end in cooperation, but in violence. Male dolphins, however, are surprisingly cooperative. Not only do males form multiple alliances, those different groups often work together to woo the lucky females. When researchers tracked 121 adult male Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphins, should I try it?
No.
Yeah, Cash, you want to try it?
No,
Cash, you hit this.
Hit this. Come on, give me your
I
best
would
shot.
say Tercelops adjunctus.
I liked it.
Yeah,
In
pretty good.
in
pretty
Western
good.
Australia.
In Western Australia's Shark Bay, they found males with stronger alliances consorted with female dolphins more and had greater reproductive success. An individual male.
Wait, just break that down. So guys that helped each other had better success dating or getting with female dolphins.
Than like lone wolf type dudes. An individual. Wait, did I just read that one?
No, what's more-
An
what's
individual
more?
male would usually team up with about 2 or 3 other males when pursuing a female. These are kind of like the human equivalents of wingmen.
It really
What's
is.
more, almost all the adult male dolphins in the study also belong to a second-tier social alliance of between 4 and 14 other dolphins. And strangely enough, these larger alliances would not always compete with other second-tier teams for female attention. So basically, it's
without giving names, we know someone who used a wheelchair with another one of our friends to go out at a club and like talk to girls because they found it. I think on the beach they were working one
all
day.
right, so shout out to the Motor Lodge Dryland Lifeguard Tournament.
Is that where they got it?
This was like that night. So the Motor Lodge in Seaside Park. Actually, I think it's Berkeley. Where is it, Catch?
I think it's
Motor Lodge. Is it Berkeley or Seaside Park?
I don't know.
It's like
I
right
don't
next
know.
to Island Beach.
It's right on, it's probably Berkeley.
They used to have this awesome lifeguard tournament, and it was a land tournament, and it was like a limbo, like a flag toss, like a javelin,
Fin run.
fin run, stuff like this. Actually,
It was a goof. It was a goof one.
It
Yeah,
was
it's
a
like
goof.
fun, just
the
for
kid
fun.
in question,
Drinking and everything, yeah.
Our friend in question, who we will not name, crushed the fin run. It was hilarious,
Yeah.
but it was like a blast and kind of dry. Sorry. It was a blast, and we won. Like
That was a wet drink of water.
That first year, it was sick. It literally came down to us versus Seaside Park in a one-off obstacle course race for like everything. And it was Mike Fay, former guest on the show, versus like Seaside Park's version of Mike Fay. And it literally came down to like, so it was an obstacle course. You hop over a beach chair.
You're
Well, what's so
Jump
what's
off
have
the
to do with the
track, jump
wingman?
over
So
a
let's
boat.
go.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
you're going down a
getting
rabbit
there.
hole.
No,
Okay,
I'm getting there. And then, grab a can and like put it in the sand next to the stand. And Faye, like, they get over the boat and they're neck and neck. And Faye just like dives with the can and puts it in. And we're all just waiting because like the can has to stay in the sand. And we're just like looking at the can, making sure it doesn't fall. And then we just go like absolutely berserk. So we go absolutely nuts. Like we're like, throwing shit everywhere. We just won this stupid tournament. So we go out to Spicy's later, and somewhere along the way, we found a wheelchair. And one of the guys was pushing this other kid around in this wheelchair, like to every bar. And
he would use the wheelchair to, talk to girls, just to be like, because they, he's.
And they almost made it the entire night without anyone noticing until at the very end of the night, he was trying to get a drink. So he stands up out of the wheelchair to point towards the bar, and then realized and was like, oh my God, and sat back down. And everyone around him was like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, well, you could have said it was a miracle.
Yeah.
He's never
He
walked.
can
He could stand. So anyway, keep reading. It's pretty interesting. I'm reading while you're talking. Okay.
So instead, sometimes they join forces, creating a third tier of alliances. So to break that down, that's like, if you're on a soccer team and there's like the 4 core guys you like, or on a beach patrol, the 4
they just keep
core
lining up. They
guys
keep
you
more
like
and
to
more
hang
get
out
together.
with,
So actually,
then they're-
different groups. Yeah.
Exactly. When this happened, the males were much more successful at mating with females. Their cooperation, in other words, reduced competition. The relationship between groups rather than alliance size had the biggest impact because it allowed the males more time to court the females. We show that the duration over which these teams of male dolphins consort females is dependent on being well connected with third-order allies. That is, social ties between alliances leads to long-term benefits for these males, says ethologist Simon Allen from the University of Bristol.
Interesting.
Yeah, you know what to think about this
Pretty
too.
crazy.
Yeah, just go down a little bit. Just go down. You missed one part. Go up. It says here. It says go up just a little bit more. Right. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Unlike it, there was something that says that it's only that it was. Go down. Go this up a little bit more. One more thing here. Up here. This top one.
Scroll
keep
up.
going. Scroll up right there. It says intergroup cooperation was thought to be a unique feature of humankind, which is pretty interesting. So why do dolphins seem to have evolved under similar? Unlike humans, mating dolphins don't form pair bonds, and males don't help on raising your young. So it's quite surprising that they can work together so well. So here's you talking about promiscuous social structure are more similar to chimpanzees. So they don't really say. So dolphins nevertheless form human-like strategic multi-level male alliances. That's pretty interesting because that's the only other ones that do that. I mean,
Yeah.
So what about dolphins and humans are set apart? No.
Thumbs, I would say.
No thumbs.
It's a big one.
Think about my point about this is the research that it took to figure this out.
Yeah.
How the heck did you even? I mean, think about how
Dolphins are freaky.
But I mean, think about they had to be in the water. They had to watch them. How did they? That was
Tag 'em, watch 'em.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Let's
That's probably wild.
let's go to a sidebar real quick because Nico's mom has been blowing up.
Yo.
Oh,
okay. She goes, "Is that Dom in the video in the back?" Yes, Trish,
was.
it is. Synchronized swimming to attract females. They work and swim together. Oh, so she's talking about the dolphins. They work and swim together. Nico, do you want to read these?
What am I reading?
Up top, Nico.
Your mom's
Can you
comments.
see?
I can't read those from here.
All right, they work and swim together to attract female dolphins. They also synchronize their calls to attract females.
Can you
P.S.
make that bigger, Tyler? Just blow it up.
I
there.
don't know how.
You just pick it.
P.S. I'm a naturalist for dolphin and whale watching trips.
If you
Turrisops trinaticus.
Right, if you
Johnny says yo. Trish says dolphins are also the only species other than humans who engage in sexual behavior purely for fun. Every other species only engages in sex to reproduce. Dolphins will do it just for fun.
Tyler, if you hit one of them, it'll come up on the main screen if you want. I think if you hit that, yeah, there it is up top.
That's
It's in
like hard to read.
Yeah, it's in the wrong color. Okay, next time you can fix it. So
Nico,
Yeah.
what year is this for fire rescue or ocean rescue with the fire department?
This is my 3rd year.
How's it going?
It's good. I like it a lot. We're doing a lot of training, getting ready for hurricane season now.
I remember the first time you were doing it, how excited you were every time because you guys use an app for calls.
Yeah, it goes.
How excited you would get every time something would happen. And
Yeah, I'll be doing whatever, and as soon as my phone goes off,
you're done. Yeah, you're
I'll
out.
be making dinner, eating dinner.
how you guys getting prepared for hurricane season?
Oh, we're doing a lot
like
of
what-
training. We're,
Like what? Like what kind of training? Like what would you do specifically?
Well, we train a lot with our jet skis. The jet skis is our big thing almost all of our rescues, even if we send someone out with a can, they're always getting backed up with the jet skis.
Right.
So
right.
we focus a lot on really getting down with the jet
How many jet skis do you have?
We have 3 jet skis total and 1 boat. Normally we use, our one truck has 2 jet skis on it. That's the one that we use those 2 jet skis on the one truck.
So Nico, nobody's jumping in the water with a can making a traditional lifeguard rescue.
I think there initially are. I've seen it.
Not normally how we do it with the rope and can. We don't normally do that, but I've been on calls where there's multiple people or there's someone that's just in so much like distress that what we'll do is we'll send someone out with a can just to stabilize them, and then meanwhile the other guys are launching the jet ski, and then they'll come pick you up and bring them to shore. Versus just launching the jet ski and.
So priority 1 is to get the jet ski out. Priority 1 is to get the jet ski out.
Have you responded to any successful saves this summer?
I personally haven't. It's not really like September. Once September comes, then we'll start having a lot of rescues.
That's when shit hits the fan.
Yeah, we haven't had anything too crazy yet. Is
there anything coming up in the storm?
No,
Can you pull up the? Well, you couldn't.
That was one of the topics of interest today.
Sick segue.
Yeah, way to go, Kachmar. Nailed it.
Let me see here.
2022 Atlantic hurricane season. We
okay.
We actually skipped a thing on the docket, but that's cool.
That's all right.
We'll get
come
back.
So yeah,
let me see. I'm going to go here.
We were looking into like hurricane season, and
I'm going to Weather Channel right now.
This is the first August in how many years?
Since 1997 without a named storm.
Without a named storm.
Actually, this is interesting. Over the last 30 years, the Atlantic has typically faced its 6th named storm by August 29th, with 2 hurricanes usually developing by late August.
So I don't see anything here.
So
right
The
now.
last one was Hurricane Colin.
Ooh, there's
on
stuff
July
coming
2nd.
off the coast.
Yeah, there's a couple of systems out there that
get all
people
those
are keeping
weird
an eye
names
on.
like the number 7N75554.
Hey, put my iPhone up real quick. I just want to show you. Look, put it up right now. Can you just?
What do you got going on, Kachmar?
Just look at this. That's us tonight.
That's not a hurricane.
That's tonight.
No, that's tonight.
Does
Look
that
at
mean ocean tomorrow?
Ooh. It's coming through. That's us. So now I don't see anything here. I'm looking at down south here at my phone. I mean, I'm looking. I don't really. It's hard. This is not the right app, but there is some disturbances
over here.
right there.
Yeah.
That's something right there. Look at this.
That's
Oh
not
shit!
shit. That's way
Wait,
too
go
far.
up more northern.
So I have this theory.
No, I'll put the hurricane here, but I don't see anything. They usually mark it, but there's some disturbances. So
What's your theory, Kay?
Well,
I have this
you
theory
get rid
that
of
the
You get rid of
months
it. Go back to Sean.
that the months are being pushed back, but not along with the calendar, just in general. So September is supposed to be August, and August is July right now.
Oh, like the 50s is really the new 40s.
No,
or 30s.
Wait, is it where are you getting this theory? Is this like some Mayan calendar shit?
just
Like
me,
what's
just-
going on?
When he's
personal
home,
observations.
listen. When he's home in his house with his black lights and he's drinking that
My
herbal tea.
lava lamp.
And his
Are
lava
you
lamp.
watching videos about
Yeah, yeah.
Tartaria with Nick Caputo?
So September, just like a global climate shift.
Everything's
type
changing.
concept.
No. He makes a good point because
Now he's on my side.
No, because years ago when we started, you would have these northeast storms, and especially June, you get hammered with northeast storms, and then you'd have the June in our area swell. It was always and we still have that. You get a lot of bad ocean, and it's not necessarily hurricanes, but you get the swell, and then July and August are usually pretty calm. You get in the morning you'll get a west wind. And then the west wind, and sometimes south, but we didn't get much south wind. It would change over to southeast.
So maybe September's even July this year. We're getting real crazy.
And then you would get the hurricanes. I don't know about that, but I can tell you the winds have changed. I go down to Tortola for 30, 40 years now, and they used to have the Christmas winds that really kick up, and they're northeast winds, and they've kind of changed. So everything's changing. I agree with you, but you might be right. The season may go longer.
So Sean,
that's not good either.
Just to clarify, it's not climate change. It's climate
Listen, I'm not a denier.
mobility. Is that a better way to put it?
Climate adjusting.
Climate
adjustments?
adjustment. But so the weather's not
climate
changing, just the
variability.
time.
Climate variability.
Climate variability. Okay, then Nico
Variability.
has no say in the matter here. What do you think, Nico? No, Nico don't give a rat's ass. He's thinking, Nico. Here's what Wayne. He just wants. You want a lot of hurricanes, though, right? So you guys get busy.
Yeah, I like
I
it.
don't,
Yeah,
think, I don't think Nico wants
Big,
hurricane.
big waves.
Big waves.
Hell
No,
yeah.
you,
waves.
you
Big
haven't been
waves.
surfing much lately, huh?
Well, there hasn't been waves to surf.
Not really.
No. So let's go back to
We're
short.
going tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and just ride
Allegedly,
whatever
they're
there is.
talking.
Allegedly.
They're gonna go. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go, and then Sean's gonna call me in the morning, and I'm not gonna answer his call. But actually, Sean's gonna know better than to even try to call me.
Probably, yeah.
So but Sean, I agree with you, and I think this is important because there is definitely climate variability. And this summer, in my opinion and my recollection, is that we had so much hard, not just southwest wind blowing, but hard, and many days. And the water was freezing. I mean, May, June, even going into July, the water was freezing cold.
So cold. I was wearing a 3-2 like all summer.
Right, and it just got warmed up, a couple of weeks ago. Today I was moving some people, and the water was like very warm. So that's an unusual thing. I've seen some summers, but we had such hard wind. And if you go inland, it was 103, 102, and then you come to the beach and it was freezing because actually when you get to southwest, it blows out the top water. You get upswell, and then the water's cold. And then if you do get a little southeast, you freeze. Remember, we were sitting there. People in land about 4 or 5 miles were dealing with 102, 105 degree temperatures, and we were wearing our sweats and on the stand. So it's pretty wild if you think about it. So I definitely agree. So you're saying your theory is that the hurricane season might be pushed more later. So September and October. Well, when was Sandy?
October, but that was a freak storm. But like maybe that's just along with the theory. But at the time, especially, that was like a freak time to have such a powerful hurricane.
Wasn't there also snow like the week before or something?
I think the
Like,
week after.
The week after?
Yes.
And then
I remember
Yes.
school getting canceled. That was my freshman year of college, and school got canceled because there was snow.
It was a crazy time. Not as crazy as COVID, but it was a crazy time.
Yeah, we were talking about that today, how at the very beginning of like the lockdowns, it was a real like camaraderie type feel. But like all it took was like, remember right after 9/11, like everyone was like, America, we all love each other. That's how it felt.
I was like an infant.
Oh, you don't remember? Catch, do you remember that?
What's that?
How like the love everyone had for each other
No.
post 9/11.
Oh,
Post 9/11?
Yeah.
Everyone was like flying American flags. It was all patriotism.
Yeah.
However,
people
what
got
happened?
together. Yeah.
Like so, I noticed a little bit of that when we went into lockdown. People were sewing each other masks, helping
Hitting pots and pans at 6 o'clock every
pots
night.
and
whatever it
pans
was.
for the nurses. And then like Trump made one off-color tweet, and the whole world just fucking descended into chaos.
Yeah, well, that's listen, if you want to talk politics, you got to come on my other show. But getting back to what you're saying is hurricane, and what Nico was saying about preparing for hurricane. Our beach, we prepare for hurricanes too. Training, and we have our jet skis. And I agree with
Sea-bobs.
Sea-bob, yeah, right. But I agree with Nico. A jet ski is really important. And Nico, from your perspective, why is a jet ski? For our audience who doesn't know, why is a jet ski such a great piece of equipment for hurricane surf, where you got huge ocean, maybe in our area, 6 to 8 to 10, 12, foot swells, and really, why is it such a great tool, and why do you train on it? How do you train specifically? Launching it, or like how do you? I'm asking questions I know the answer to, but how do you maneuver a jet ski? Say a beach patrol.
I've never
it's
seen you drive the jet ski.
Yeah, well, I used to drive it all the time. Our beach was one of the first beach patrols to have a jet ski. This is before it was even nobody had it. And Al and I, we just bought one, like a used one, and we experimented with it. Actually, I remember the first time because there was no sleds or anything like that, and I sat on the back with a rope can. Well, first of all, I took a loose can, and Al zoomed me out, and it was some big ocean. Because we went up, came down, I blew out my knee, Al hit the friggin' front, cut his hand. That was the end of that. Then once we recovered from that, we had this great idea: let's take a rope can out, because to get out there. So I get the rope can on, Al is driving it, and of course I get friggin'
So much drag, yeah.
I get thrown. It was like, but you really, one of the guys at State Park broke his back, and he wasn't paralyzed, but they were riding waves, and you come down. So you learn real quick. You got to learn how to come down. You could really get hurt on a jet ski. And now, of course, the sleds. I think the guys in Hawaii and California who are doing a lot of surfing, they brought that to a light, and that's it. We train with the board. I don't do it because I mean I can, but you guys, I think it's better for you guys to get out there. But I've used to ride jet skis all the time. I'm trying to think, like I said, on our beach and plus my boats. I've gone. I got a captain's license, 100-ton. But anyway, Nico, let's just before I don't want to get off a tangent. How do you with the fire department? What techniques are there that you would tell people who are training on a fire department or rescue how to better utilize their jet skis? What's some of the hints, like how to launch it or how to use it once you get in? Can you give us some ideas what you've learned that are good pearls for somebody to know?
Yeah, so when we launch the jet ski, the main thing is you always want to keep it straight. When we walk it out into the ocean, so we get a couple guys on each side. We have the driver goes on the left side where the wristband is, and then the rescue swimmer will go on the right side toward the back. And we push it into the ocean, keep it straight the whole time.
Why is that? I understand, but explain why.
If it gets sideways, it could the wave will hit it and knock it into you guys. So you want to keep it straight so it goes straight through the waves and doesn't injure any of the people pushing the jet ski.
Oh, okay.
out.
So straight. So you want to hit the wave straight on. Go ahead.
And what we do is we call out waves. So if we're pushing out and a wave's coming, we'll all yell out wave. That way we're all on the same page. We know we got to kind of hold on, push through this wave. And then as soon as the jet ski's, floating, then the driver will hop on. Rescue swimmer will hop on the SPAC, which is we hop on the sled that you were talking about. And rescue swimmer will let the driver know, okay, I'm good to go. I'm holding on. And then we'll go out. And when we're going over waves, we don't fly over waves. It's not like a ramp. You come up.
And you want to cut them, right?
What's up?
You want to cut them?
Well, yeah, what we do is we'll go up to the wave, and then once we're like almost at the top, we'll let off the throttle a little bit. So that way we're not like flying over the wave. It's
So you
more
kinda
of a
just-
nice little,
Let the jet ski weight
let the
push
jet-
down on a
exactly.
wave.
What about the Zodiac boat? Is it kind of the same procedure?
Yeah, we don't use that as much. That's more of a bay thing for like long searches.
I imagine that's hard to launch in like big surf.
Yeah, it could. We don't use that as much as the jet skis. Only maybe a handful of times. a year.
Nico, when the rescue swimmer goes on the back, does he have a can? Does
No,
he do-
we don't.
no.
We don't. Yeah, we
Okay,
don't use
no
cans.
cans.
No cans.
No rescue
Life
can
preserver?
whatsoever.
Like he's a life vest on?
Yeah, we wear life vests and helmets.
Nice.
But you don't. But you don't.
Not even need
yeah.
like
The soft one.
the pole. So yeah, the
No,
why not?
I think it's another extra thing that can kind of like get tangled up, or it's. I find it easier to do jet ski rescues without the can.
Well, let's talk about the rest. So you go. So listen, you launch it straight. You guys let go. You get the driver. You got the person on the back, the rescue swimmer.
Yep.
Now you're going out. You're laying on the waves. You hit a wave. You try not to launch off the wave. You try to throttle up to it, sink down. Well, I remember when I was doing it, I would go left and right. I'd wait because the sets would coming in, and hopefully they weren't right on a shore break. So I would go left and right. Once we launched it, I'd go left and right and wait for the waves. So I could get out through them. I don't know and I'd look for a run also. Where's a rip current, I'd go out that. But I always, like you said, I used to go up and down, and I could beat a lot of waves. The waves would start breaking. I could go down south or go down north. You guys ever do that technique?
You can outrun the waves.
So you do that. Now you're getting out, and you're getting to the victim. Now, explain to me how. So let's just say they're conscious.
Right.
They're by themselves. There's nobody else with them holding them up. So how do you approach it? And try to be specific. And how do you grab the person? All of that.
Right. So when we pull up, we'll pull up kind of on the side. The swimmer will hop off, and they'll secure the victim. They'll go behind the victim, kind of how we do with the lifeguards, where we go behind them.
But now here you got a vest on, so you do have a flotation
Yeah,
Yeah, wait.
device.
So,
Vest
but
on.
you say the victim is panicking and you have the vest on, like the initial, like everyone's taught.
They have
to
bear
go-
spray. I heard they spray them. No, I'm only kidding.
Oh. Asking a real question over here, my guy.
I mean, like, what's preventing them from
Trying to
pushing
drown you.
down?
Just let 'em
'cause I
go.
feel like there's not enough buoyancy to keep both people up.
I mean, what I do every time is I never approach them from the front. I'll always go behind them and not even give them the opportunity to push me under.
And that's taught to you guys?
Yeah, that way, because that they will grab onto
Yeah.
it. But they were taught, you know, if they grab onto you, you gotta do what you gotta do to get them off of you. I mean, we have helmets, we could headbutt them or whatever, but
Nice.
hopefully we don't have to do that.
Now, while you're doing it, hold on. So now, while you're doing that, the driver is trying to keep the sled real close to you, right? Obviously.
Well, there's a technique that we practice where the jet ski will kind of, what they'll do is the jet ski will come facing at you, and then they'll swing it into reverse. And when they swing it into reverse, what's happening is the sled is basically going to come right to you. And then you can put the person right on the sled.
So it's a quick maneuver
It's a
then, so
quick
you don't have to
maneuver,
hold them
yeah.
up that long, which
Yeah.
is interesting. Which begs the question: you know, how many jet skis now have reverse? So they all have reverse, or is that a high-end model?
I believe most of them.
Yeah, I think
now
a
have
lot of
reverse.
them do.
Yeah, which is
the
amazing.
reverse technique is a really good technique. We train with that, and it just pushes the sled. The way you kind of turn it, the sled just goes right into you guys, and you're able to get the victim onto the sled nice and easily.
Yeah, I guess you would turn the wheel, the steering one way and back it up, and it puts you. That's good. So
Yeah.
then now you got the victim. You're behind him. The sled is pushed up to you now. So the sled is between you and the victim. No, I mean the victim is between the sled and you. So
Yeah,
the
so
victim's in the
we
middle.
put-
And then
yeah.
how do you get him on? Like who does the driver help? Like how to?
Well, we'll kind of muscle them onto the sled. If the driver needs to help, we do train with that too, like having the driver assist in pulling the victim up. We also practice single rescues on the jet ski where the driver would do like a one-hand pickup and throw him on the back.
You got to have a strong arm for that, man.
Yeah, but this is all stuff we do all the time training, so we really have it down.
Now, but let me. So when you're doing that, right? Obviously, you know, there's waves out there, and they could be breaking. Who's like watching the waves? Like, so the driver. I mean, there must be times like I watch the guys surfing, and sometimes the jet ski has to take off and leave the guy,
Yeah,
leave him
that-
there. Have you ever had that where the
that
jet ski's like,
definitely-
"See ya, I gotta go," before we get hit by a wave, and then come back later? Now you are kind of
That
like,
that happens quite often.
and you got to struggle with the person, and you know.
The driver, whoever's driving the jet ski, they're watching out for the waves. They're making sure that the waves, you know, that they're not going to get hit by a wave. Otherwise, that would totally jeopardize the safety of everyone on that rescue. So there's been multiple times where I've been with a victim and the jet ski had to take off because a wave was coming. And it's just part, you know, you just have to hold the victim, keep them afloat, and the jet ski will always come back to you.
Do you have fins on? A rescue swimmer have fins?
Oh yeah, a couple of the guys have fin belts that they clip to their gear. So when they go in the water, they have their fins kind of on their vest, and they're able to take them off. And
Is that a standard or is that
it's
individual?
Not, no, it's more of an individual thing. It's not not everyone has
Do
it.
you wear fins or no?
I personally don't have fins. No.
You have big feet. So you get the victim. Okay, so let's go. So now you got the victim. Let's see, they're conscious. So you put them on a sled. Do you lay on top of them? Do you like,
Yeah,
you know?
we,
do
we-
you spoon them? Like, you know?
What we do is we'll lay on top of them,
Yeah.
and we kind of interlock our arms, if that makes sense. We'll put like our arms under their arms and
Right.
grab the handles, and then we do what's called a leg lock. We'll lock our legs around their legs, and then,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
and they're pretty much not going anywhere. There was actually a scenario maybe like a month ago where someone was actually injured, and laying on top of them was very discomforting for the person. So we kind of had to make do, and we laid next to them and kind of like straddled them the best we could. So.
Now, so you laid them on their belly. You don't have them on their back and then
Yeah, normally they're always on their stomach.
on their stomach.
How would you deal with like a potential neck injury, like out past the break?
Well, our main priority is to get them out of the water first. Especially if they're not moving or anything. There's not really much we just got to get them on the. You mean if they're in the ocean? right?
Unconscious,
they're in the
you're floating or whatever. You want to get them in,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
priority.
That's priority is to get them in.
There's no neck board. You just get them
Yeah.
on the sled, get them in, and try to stabilize them. So let's just say, you know, they're conscious or they're not conscious. At this point, you're coming in, right? You're you know, the driver's looking at the waves. You're looking at the waves. Obviously, you got to time them. And is there a technique to get, you know, because say the sets are coming in, and you're trying to get a lull, but you're still, you know, you may not get a complete lull. How do you come in with the jet ski with the victim? Is there any technique? I mean,
Well, yeah, the driver's reading the waves. They'll see like the best way to get in.
Right.
You know, they'll read the waves, see what they want to do. But usually we'll just coast straight in to the shore and beach the jet ski. Or like if there's multiple victims where we have to go back out, they'll they'll come to the shore, quick turn, you'll roll off with the victim, and then the jet ski could go back out.
Does another rescue swimmer go up or a fresh one? Do you like rotate or another driver or
It all depends on the situation. Usually we don't switch out drivers
right?
unless for some reason we would have to. We do that during training though. We'll switch drivers mid kind of rescue would switch drivers. So we do train for that in case we do have to do that.
So let me so then you get them in, and you have a crew waiting on the beach now, right? So
Yes.
you have then they train for this to get this person. What do they got, a backboard like let's.
Yeah.
How do you? I mean, what do you do when you get them? Because they're in the wash and everything. What do you do there? Sean, what do you want to say, Sean?
Some are swimming out to you to help you get the person in sometimes. Do you guys seem to just train for all variables?
Yeah, we do a lot of different things during training. We'll do jet ski training, victim swimming. Like we'll act like we're unconscious and have to swim the person in. We call it buddy swimming. So we'll switch off. We'll swim them for a little bit, and then they'll swim us without cans. No
Right.
cans.
So, but let me just finish this thought. So you get them in, and then what happens? How do you get this person? What is there a bed? I mean, is there a board waiting? Like, what's your protocol?
It all depends on the situation. Usually, we're not really dealing with neck injuries most of the time. Most of the time, it's just people getting sucked out in rip currents or getting pounded by the waves, and they're just exhausted. So normally we'll just beach the ski, and they're not going to be able to stand up on their own 99% of the time. So we just usually also during these calls, Triborough, the EMS service, they're almost always on scene for swimmer and distress calls. So most of the time, by the time we get to the beach, the ambulance, Triborough, they're already there waiting for us.
So who's gonna, like? Let's just say the victim's unconscious.
Okay.
You get them. Like, I know you had one this summer. You get them to the beach. There's a bunch of people there because they're not moving.
Right.
So the guys are getting in the water. Yes,
Yeah,
and you
so
bring the jet. So do you beach it in that situation? You don't beach it, right? You just
Well, that particular situation, that was kind of different. We had to swim that person in, but people were waiting on shore to help us bring that.
why? What do you mean swim him in? You didn't get him on the back of the jet ski
Not for that particular situation.
because he was unconscious.
He was unconscious, and where it was, we had big surf, and it was right in the breakers. So the it was another situation where the jet ski had to leave us because the jet ski was going to get hit by the waves.
So
Yeah.
you brought him in.
So yeah, myself and two other people swam.
Let me ask you this: is there ever a time? And there's no easy answer to this, but say somebody's in the wash like that, they're unconscious, they're getting washed around. You can't get a jet ski in there.
Yeah.
I would go out with a can, like other lifeguards, and maybe a rope, and try to bring the guy in. It's tough when somebody's like 250 pounds and unconscious.
Yeah.
But what about, do they ever talk about a backboard? Have you seen any seminars or like take the backboard out there and strap them on the backboard and try to bring the backboard? Or is that just too much time? And
No,
what's your feelings on that? Like if you have
we
somebody who's
we haven't touched upon that. That's not something that we do. It's more so like for that particular situation, that's our training kicked in when we do those buddy swims I was talking about. That was an exact example of when you would actually use something like that to swim someone.
so tell me how this victim was unconscious.
Yes.
So you were out there with the jet ski, you find the body,
Yeah.
he's floating or whatever. And then we don't need to talk about this
Right,
individual,
right.
But how do you get that body in? How do you get that individual
So what
in?
we did in that particular situation is we had two jet skis out there.
Right.
So a rescue swimmer from the back of each jet ski jumped off into the water, grabbed the victim. We went on either side of him, kind of hooked under his arms, and we just kind of kicked and swam with one arm and kicked and swam with one arm until we made it. I mean, we were not too far away from shore. We were in the breakers. It felt like it took a while to get in. It might have only taken a minute or two to swim him in, if that. And then once we got to shore, I mean, police helped us bring him up. The EMTs helped us, and we did put him on a backboard once we got him to shore, just because it was easier. Once we put him on the backboard, we picked him up and brought him up to the beach to start working on him.
Backboard's good too to start CPR,
Yeah.
and stabilize him. So yeah. So you couldn't. So there's a situation where you couldn't do the jet ski.
Yeah, that particular situation, we had to swim him in.
Yeah. There was one that friends of mine did, and what happened was that they went out with the rope can. The guy was unconscious. It was a big surf day. And what happened was they were trying to bring him in, and while they were getting crushed with the waves, the rope wrapped around him and the victim. And that's a very dangerous thing. I've had that happen a few times. you got to be very careful when you do a rope rescue with an unconscious victim. Usually with a conscious victim, they could help you and you could keep the rope tight. But I mean, it's so dangerous because it's so hard to keep somebody up. And I think that, an unconscious person like that, you guys had life preservers on, and that's an interesting concept. I think if somebody's totally unconscious, and you go out there, whether or not you have a can or not, you need definitely flotation, either a vest on.
Yeah, in any water life saving thing, you need some type of flotation
But,
device.
but think about holding up a 250-pound, 300-pound individual who's unconscious. You're getting pounded by the waves. Your ideal scenario is to get that person in. I'm thinking, what in my head, I need fins. I need, what do you call it, the life jacket. I tell you one thing about fins though. When you're out there and you make a rescue and it's a rope can rescue and they start pulling you in and you're holding on the victim and you have fins on, those fins will make your legs go up and you'll start to push you down and you'll start to drown yourself. I mean, you have to take them off. And I've had that happen because in big ocean, I'd go out the fins. I'd be the loose can and then the rope can would come out and they'd start pulling us in and I would start planing up. So it's pretty interesting. So that was a tough one. Were you guys, how many people it took to bring this guy in? Just two of you did it, or?
I believe it was 3 of us total to swim him. It was the 2 rescue swimmers from the jet skis, and then one of our guys from shore swam out, and so it was 3 of us total swimming this guy in.
Yeah, that's amazing. So just to finish up with the jet ski, you train entries, you train pickup, you train coming in. With the launch, this is one thing that I see a lot of. There's a lot of variabilities. Some people use it's on a sled. They drive the sled into the water. Other people bring the jet ski to the edge, jump the jet ski on the sand, and push it in. You guys got any advice for people out there about how is the quickest way or the best way, or what's in what situation would you launch it one way as opposed to the other?
The way that we launch our jet skis all the time is we have them on a trailer. We back the trailer up to the water, not all the way to the water. We'll pull the jet ski. All of us will come up to the jet ski, grab the jet ski, and push it off the trailer.
Is it facing backwards at this point?
Yeah. So the front of the jet ski is facing the ocean.
Oh,
So,
it is. So
yeah,
you have the jet ski set up on the sled facing.
Yeah,
So
so
when
we
you're
don't have
driving
to
down the
spin.
road with the jet ski, it's pointing to the rear,
Yes.
backward. Yeah. Okay.
So we just get on the jet ski, we pull it off of the trailer. So then it's in the sand, and then we grab our sleds, which are in the back of the truck, and we quickly put the sled on. Do the 3 clips, and then everyone gets on a side and we walk it into the water. So we're pushing it on the sand into the water.
So you don't have the trailer there. I guess I think a lot of people think about the trailer. You get hurt with it, in the water. So you get it off the trailer, and then slide it down. How many guys you want to have on that team to slide that? Is there a number?
Ideally, I would say at least 4, but we can definitely do it with just 2 guys. All we need is 2 guys to launch.
One other thing, you made a good point, or a point that's interesting. You don't have the sled attached. Now we keep our sled attached. Yeah. Well, we fold it up. Why isn't that? So it doesn't get damaged. Are you worried about that little bit of time that you had to do it, or?
I'm not 100% certain why we don't have the sleds hooked up. It might just be because of how the trailer is. It might not.
Yeah, driving down the road.
Probably
going
just protect
60,
the sled.
going 60 miles an hour.
We train so much that we have it down. So while we're pulling the trailer or the jet ski off the trailer, another guy's already grabbing the sled. And then by the time we get it off the trailer, he's already there with the sled, putting the sled on.
One other thing, so as far as communication, you guys have helmets on. Do you have mics in the helmet? Communication?
No, we don't have mics in the helmet.
So you don't when you don't have a radio?
You have radio in the jet ski?
Not all the time. Sometimes if we're doing a long search or depending on the scenario, we'll have a radio. But if it's seconds count, then we're not gonna usually take the extra second to make sure we grab the radio. We're just getting out there with the ski and getting the victim.
And that's why you prepare for all the variables so that doesn't affect you.
What was that?
That's why you prepare for all the different variables before the actual rescues need to happen.
We do so many different scenarios and so many different things during training that we're pretty much prepared for just about any scenario that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we this time of year, we worry about off-beach rescues because our beaches to the north and south of us are going to be gone. We're going to lifeguard until the end of September. So we have a radio, as you know, Nico. We put a radio. We have 2 jet skis for people out there who are listening, and we have sleds. Well, our sleds are connected. We have we're on a sled, and we've been doing different things. We've been experimenting with just, because we have berms, so we back it up and we push it down. But we have a radio, so we have to go maybe a mile or 2 one way, left or it's north or south, and we need to communicate. So it's interesting. We try to shoot out a mule or an ATV with a crew. So we have a mule on our beach, like as you well know, with a rope can and loose cans. And I think, for me, I love the method of, a rope can and a loose can, and, saturate the ocean with people. So that's really interesting. What did you want to say, Sean? You were asking about other things, like he prepares for everything. Like
I was just commenting on the fact that they don't need it. They hopefully wouldn't need the radio because they prepare for everything.
Right. Well, that's pretty interesting. I think the jet ski has changed the whole way we lifeguard. I used to make, and I have made, boat rescues, and I know beaches still do it. And you can't, it works.
Jet skis go faster.
Yeah, jet skis go real fast, and
Vroom,
you got to
vroom.
row. What's that?
Vroom, vroom, Kachmar. They go quick.
Right. So what else? You want to...
We could hit you with the quiz right now,
Well, what about, let's just talk about, because you guys are all fired up about this. You asked me, POTUS forgives up to $20,000. Just want to comment, because that's kind of not a lifeguard, but you guys, I probably affects a lot of lifeguards.
Lifeguards are typically college students.
All right, here's the fact sheet.
On our beach, we got, how many lifeguards are not
The
college?
age range lines up.
Oh, be careful where you step, sir.
I'm just saying.
Be careful. First of all, you in our beach patrol, you got a very 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. They ain't going to college yet.
They're thinking about it. They
They're
could be
thinking about it. And
it.
then you got the older crowd like me. We're done already with college. So but
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
I don't
How
like
do you feel about it as someone that went to college
Well,
and now some of the people that didn't pay their debts yet?
We talked about this last week, and I'm going to talk about this on my show. But there was a great article, and here's the interesting thing about this. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but the one thing that it's like the border. Having a border that's porous. If you're going to give all these people, illegal aliens in this country, say, amnesty, you got to close the border, because this is going to keep on coming and coming. The article I read talked about, the improprieties, how good it is, how bad it is. But one thing they did say, and this was an article that was very pro forgiveness of student loans. They said this bill is actually going to increase more loans. They're going to give more loans, and then the college is going to continue to raising the rates, and in 4 years they predict we'll be right back to the same level of debt that we have today.
Theoretically.
No, not theoretically. Why would it be theoretically? People are going to take loans
They're
out.
making assumptions.
Well, I think this. I can tell you right now. Tomorrow the sun's going to come up.
You're
I'll make
theorizing
it.
the sun will come up.
Yeah, and the sun will come up. Right, and it'll go down, and and the ocean will still be wet, and the ocean will still be there. I think it's a pretty good assumption. But my point is that it's not. You're asking me what my point is. I think they need to fix the whole thing. It's a runaway loop. The government gives the money, they keep on giving it, and the colleges keep raising the rates. It's not a fair market. There's other things that go on, and but my point is, it's not fixing the problem. You're going to still have the same debt 4 years from now, and the same problem. So good. That's.
No, I think we did talk about this last week.
Yeah, we
But
talked
it's
about
announced
like
now.
the issue, but the reason I wanted to bring this up was
Yeah.
because like 2 days later, they made this announcement. But here's the fact sheet. This was posted on the whitehouse.gov on August 24th. So when was that? What's today? The 30th? 6 days ago?
Yeah.
So that would be Wednesday. So we woke up the next morning to this news.
Hey.
So blah, blah, blah. Today, President Biden is announcing a 3-part plan to provide more breathing room to America's working families as they continue to recover from the strains associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. This plan offers targeted debt relief as part of a comprehensive effort. So what they're basically going to do is the Department of Education will provide up to $20,000 in debt cancellation to Pell Grant recipients with loans held by the Department of Education, and up to $10,000 in debt cancellation to non-Pell Grant recipients. Borrowers are eligible for this relief if their individual income is less than $125,000. $250 for married couples. No high income individual or high income household in the top 5% of incomes will benefit from this action. To ensure a smooth transition to repayment and prevent unnecessary defaults, the pause on federal student loan repayment will be extended one final time through December 31st, 2022. Borrowers should expect to resume payment in January 23.
Let's go.
But like, he did it. Like, that's just crazy that like he did what he said he was gonna do. Like, how wild is that? That's like, we're surprised by that. A president did what he ran on.
No, you know, a lot of people do that. Trump did the same thing. But also they do a lot of things that they don't say. But here's the thing.
I don't even remember what Trump ran on other than like insulting his opponents.
No. He ran on a lot of things. But I don't want to get into the politics of that. But let's just talk about the student loan stuff. A couple things, if you ask me my question, because I paid, when I got out of school, I had a tremendous amount of student loans. And I worked my ass off to pay them off. I didn't go on vacations. And so from my perspective, I think it's very unfair to people who are still alive and paid their student loans, or they never got student loans. And I think it's very unfair to people who never went to college or didn't take out loans at all. Here's the thing. We're all going to pay for this through our taxes. Is it a good thing? Yeah. But I think it's not fair. And here's the other thing. From a purely political standpoint, you had the executive branch, doling out this money. Congress, the way it should work is Congress should do it. So I'm not so against how this went down. About their paying student loans, but if you really look at the Constitution, the way things are, the executive branch doesn't have the right. I don't know if this is going to be fought, and there's going to be an injunction or a school. Judges are going to get involved in the Supreme Court. But it's you can't have Biden or Trump or anybody else doing this unilaterally. The power of the purse is supposed to be with Congress. That's what I'm saying. So so there's a lot. There's a lot of issues on this. This ain't over. It's going to be. It's been debated, and I think it's nice that he did one of the things. This was a big thing he ran on, but. It's interesting too. Where they come up with 125,000. I don't know what the average income
Just
is.
print more of it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but what if you live, that is a good point. Like, what if you live in New York City? 125,000 is really not getting you that far compared to if you live in, I don't know, Texas.
Well, I didn't study. I mean, how many loans and how many people are really eligible for this, and I don't know. All I tell you though, it's one of those things that. There's how many people who never took a student loan out and are like, oh, well, what do I get? How about, what else is there? What about mortgages? Now, I'm reading that there's about 8 million people right now that are, because they see the numbers that are on the edge of foreclosing on their mortgages. Should we forgive them?
Well, that's a different, that's supposed to be a more informed decision.
Your student loans were, no.
But the difference is you have sometimes 17-year-old kids making these decisions on these student loans. If you're buying a house, you should be. Okay, it's assumed
I'll give you that. Okay, so then let's not do that anymore. Then going forward,
completely agree.
Let's not give anybody. Here's the thing. I had a roommate, and he would get student loans. This is when we were in medical school. He would take the money and bet it on the football games. I'm not kidding around. And he pissed the money away. And he had so much loan debt. They gave him. I mean, he probably had $300,000. I think it's, and the other thing too is, I'll give you the other side of the coin. Is it even enough? The guys I got who are coming out of school, the doctors, right? They owe $200,000, $400,000. Now they ain't making no money. I guarantee they would first year resident, they maybe they're making 60, 70,000. So the 10,000 is dropping a bucket. What's it going to do for them? You say, oh, they're going to make a lot of money going forward. I guess so. So I think there's a lot of. I don't know how much this is going to really help. Now, you guys, what's the average student loan of you guys? Like 20 grand, 10?
I mean, I guess I'll be open about it.
No.
I owe about 30,000.
Yeah. So it's going. Will you be eligible? Will you be eligible for the 20 or 10?
Definitely the 10.
Yeah.
I don't know about the 20 because that's see the thing with the 20 is you had to have received the Pell Grant, which I don't know if I received or not. I have to check up on that.
Right. My whole thing is I think it's great. But as you said, Sean, what are they going to do to stop it? Like 4 years from now, if in fact this article is true and accurate, and this was a left-leaning article. If that's the case, and we're back to the same shit show, same debt, 4 years from now, are we going to do another loan payback again?
Burn
Why don't
down
we
the
just,
colleges.
Why don't we just make colleges? Why don't we just
Burn down the colleges, occupy the town halls, and
Oh, that's
anarchy.
no
kidding.
violence. We don't
And
talk
cancel the police.
Listen,
no
if,
violence. But
Listen, if you don't want this to affect you, you should just become a hermit like the hermit crab.
let me ask you this.
Segues
So
into
now
our
the
next
colleges-
segment.
No, it doesn't, because you just gave him the answer to the first question.
Do you know that?
Why?
Oh, hang on.
What do you
hang-
mean why? Why would you introduce the quiz with the subject of the quiz?
Let's go.
Let me
Who does
let me give
that?
you one more, Tyler. Let me give you one more point about this. These colleges, right? If you look at the stipends, the money they have, like Harvard, Yale, a lot, and even the lower key, they have billions of dollars. I think like Yale has got maybe 20 billion in assets. Okay, they're what do you call it? Tax free. They pay zero taxes, and they invest the money. And so it's a big racket. I think that the whole thing, it's great from a small micro like you. Hey, you're struggling, you're getting this money. But in the bigger picture, when you start stepping back and looking at the friggin' bullshit that this loop where they're putting money in, the colleges are going higher and higher. They're super rich. They're super powerful. I don't know if it's if it's the best thing. But anyway,
I'll take another stimulus.
yeah. Well, okay.
There.
All right. So anyway, I think that. From my perspective, like I said, there's a lot of people out there who paid their student loans, and how about throwing us a couple? How about throwing us a couple bucks, for our effort? And I don't know. I just think it's not.
All right,
it's unfair. But let's get going.
Are you ready for your quiz?
Yeah, give me the quiz.
Let's nail it.
Are you
Yeah.
starting to look forward to this every week?
Yeah. It's
You wake
good.
up on
Yeah, it's good.
Tuesday like,
Then
oh,
let's
it's
do
quiz day.
let's do the quiz and we'll pack it in.
All right,
I flew
Nico,
today. Hey,
feel free
by,
to help out.
By the way, Nico, thanks for that. I was very informative. I think
Nico,
we're gonna,
you can help Kachmar on this quiz, by the way.
We're gonna make a little clip on that. How to work the jet ski. I
It's
think
you
that's
guys.
important.
It's you guys versus the quiz. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. These shy sea creatures seek shelter in the shells of gastropods.
Say that 3 times.
These shy sea creatures seek shelter in the shells of gastropods. Wow, that is a tongue twister. Some of the shells they can be found inhabiting include the empty shells of animals such as periwinkles, whelks, and moon snails. They usually don't steal shells that are already occupied. Instead, they'll search for vacant ones. A certain species, commonly referred to as purple pincers, can also be found at beach supply stores dotting the shore.
Hermit crabs. That's an
Hermit
easy
crabs,
one.
very good.
Right, Nico? You didn't need any help in that
Yeah.
one. Hermit crabs. That's an easy one. Go ahead.
These crabs, hermit crabs, these crabs spend most of their lives underwater as aquatic animals, living in depths of salt water that range from shallow reefs to shorelines to deep sea bottoms, rarely leaving the water for land. As pets, several marine species of hermit crabs are common in the marine aquarium trade. Ready for question number 2?
Good. Yep.
What is
Kids love those things too, but it's bad. They all die. It's like
My uncle bought one on the boardwalk one year, and took care of it for a while, and was kind of done with it. So they would feed it tequila, just to try and
Kill it?
But it lived for another 2 years on tequila.
there you
oh,
go.
like only tequila?
Only tequila,
You know-
Casamigos.
It's funny because when you catch a fish, if you want to kill it humanely, supposedly you take alcohol and put it in their fins. I mean their gills. Excuse me.
that kills them.
Yeah.
All
Supposedly.
the oxygen probably goes.
I don't know what it does, but the alcohol, maybe it's toxic to them, and it kind of dispatches them quickly. That's what I've been told. I haven't really. We have to ask Jack, our marine biologist,
We do.
lifeguard, and see if he knows anything.
it's
He'll
act-
probably, what's that?
I found that out at a party once. It's actually true.
What's that?
They die if you put them in alcohol.
What dies?
Fish.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Found that at a party.
Yeah, we don't want. Listen, we don't want. Nico, don't go into any more details about your party and dead fish, okay? But we appreciate the. Your mom's listening, so. He killed fish.
Hit him with the
So
Tyler.
get Tyler. Get
What
it.
is the average lifespan of hermit crabs?
Well, we just know you said 2 years. I would say, if I have to take a guess, maybe 3 to 4 years. What do you think, Nico?
I think a
5
long
years?
time.
5 years.
5 years?
I think a long time. 10?
Did you read the note I shared with you?
No, clearly I gave away the first question.
Jackass. In captivity, hermit crabs can live up to 40 years.
Holy, 40 years.
When kept in the right conditions. In the wild,
Holy
their
moly.
lifespan is usually short, I imagine they're like grub for some other sea creature. Much of a wild hermit's survival depends on finding the right size empty seashell to protect its soft body from predators. If the shell is too small, the hermit crab cannot withdraw far enough into the shell to avoid being eaten. So, hermits instinctively change shells looking for that perfect fit.
I saw something on Planet Earth that like they will trade shells. So like a hermit crab will give its shell to a smaller hermit crab after it's found like its next shell.
Yeah.
So it'll like they'll team up and trade off when they find a big shell together.
Yeah. That's wild.
My new thing is instead of wanting to train a seagull, I want to get like a team hermit crab to keep in headquarters.
It'll last forever if we take care of it.
Then we
you
can like
feed it tequila in the winter and it'll still live.
we can like fight over who gets to hang out with it on the stand all day. You know, it'll be
About
fun.
that.
We can paint its shell, like give it like a little whistle, just like
a
the
little
seagull.
like a Red Cross sign on it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that'd be really cool. Camaraderie.
All right, what's the next
Ready?
one? Yeah, good.
Hermit crabs are surprisingly known to be very social creatures. This is why it's recommended that you keep at least 2 or 3 at a time. How do these crabs communicate?
I have no idea. What do you think, Nico? Well, if they,
I don't know.
they,
They got-
wink at each other.
Yeah, they got
They
eyes
wink-
and
they wink at each
claws.
other.
What do we got?
They got the little tentacles. They probably go at each other and move their tentacles
Yeah.
around and touch
Antennas.
each other. I would say
touch each other.
touch each other. Touch.
Their tentacles.
Hey, that's a good way to communicate. Hey, you should try it, Tyler. Talk to your girlfriend about that. I have no idea. I don't think they write, and I don't think they send messages. But maybe
What do you
smell.
think? You think they're using like message in a bottle? Like they'll get another shell and stuff like a
Well,
letter into
I'm
it.
trying to be creative, but it could be smells. Noise. Maybe they make little noises. I don't know. Maybe hermit crabs go, quick, quick. Like
Wait. What sound was that? What sound did they make?
like whales. I tell you what, I've been in places where you go listen to the whales. Like when you're out in the ocean, you could hear them. When I'm in sailing, some of the different places in the world. Anyway, so how do they communicate? What do you think,
Wait,
Nico?
what was that? What was that sound you made?
No, I'm not going to make it. What do you think, Nico? What do you think? Any idea?
Maybe they snap their claws.
I don't know.
I like it.
They could hit their shell and make
Yeah.
noise. I don't think they're that smart.
Hermit crabs communicate by chirping.
There you go. Okay, chirp, chirp. Well, there you go. I was.
Their soft, high-pitched chirps sound like a small frog.
There
Chirping
you
can
go.
mean a territorial dispute or that the crab was startled. Bonus fun fact, hermit crabs have different odors that can indicate their health. A healthy crab smells like maple syrup. A very slight egg smell could mean your crab will soon molt. If your crab smells like an old boot, it may mean the start of a bacterial infection.
And if it smells like dead fish, it's a dead hermit crab. It's okay. What's the next one?
All right. When is the best time to present your pet hermit crab with a new shell? And what is the best way to decide if a shell is the right fit for your growing crab?
Well, you just said when it starts to smell, that indicates it's molting. That's when you'd want to, do it when it's getting too big because they grow. That's why they have to get a bigger shell. So I would say when they start to smell the smell that's for molting, and they look like they're starting to stick out of the thing, you want to give them a new shell. So I would say those are the two things that I would think about.
But how do you decide what shell to give it?
Well, I would make it bigger than what they got. I mean, how much bigger? I don't know. I don't know, a third bigger than what they got. Is it better to have too big than too small? I mean, so in hermit crab world, bigger is better. So I don't know. What do you think, Sean?
Maybe I'll
Sean
ask my
loves these
girlfriend that,
questions.
too.
What do you think, Sean? If you were a hermit crab, I'd like to have a big shell.
Yeah.
I
Big shell.
I could have like a couch in there and some carpeting and stuff. So I don't know.
You can rub.
What do you think, Nico?
I don't know.
I don't know. You could
Yeah,
have a
big
jet ski.
shell, big
So
shell.
so I would say, big. I don't know, by maybe 5-10%. There's probably a formula how much bigger, but
What do
I
you
don't
got?
know. I would
What's the
say a 30% bigger than the last one.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Some hermits will try on several shells before making a commitment. When selecting new larger shells to offer your hermit crab, pick those with an aperture or opening that is a bit wider than the
Oh,
shell
shit.
it currently occupies.
Well, that's not.
The best time to offer a new shell is around and during a full moon.
Really?
Yeah, maybe those astrology people are onto something.
Ooh.
There's a lot of stuff.
Right.
I know there's jellyfish spawn with full moons. There's a lot of fish that full moon makes a big difference. That's I'm just trying to remember my marine biology.
Do you
studies.
think it's like possible like the moon affects the water in your body the same way it affects the tides?
Oh, I think the moon affects a lot of things. Absolutely. There's pressure. I think it affects human beings. It affects the earth. I think it's a huge effect. Yeah.
Kashmar,
Are
what's your,
I don't know.
real?
what's your zodiac sign, Kashmar?
Pisces.
I have no idea what that means.
You just asked me.
I-
Why would you ask me my zodiac
I
sign
just
is
wanna know
if
if
you
you
don't
knew. I don't know
if
what
you don't know what
zodiacs.
zodiac? I mean, if you don't, you ask a question like, "What kind of car you drive?" I go, "I drive a Ford." I have no idea what that is. So why do you ask me the
I know
question?
what a
then?
Ford is.
I'm a Leo.
I'm a Leo too.
Nico, what are you?
Pisces
I have
is.
no idea.
I was.
What's your birthday?
September.
You're probably a Virgo or a Leo.
How do you know? You,
My girlfriend's is born in September. It's the only reason I know.
yeah.
So now he knows. But
Now he knows.
I don't know what a Libra is.
but you know, a lot of fish, a lot of animals. You know, full moon does a lot of things. Look at human beings. They've come out with studies. I still think that when it's a full moon, people act crazy.
All right. Here, what's the most pseudoscience shit you believe in as a medical doctor?
Pseudo. Well,
Like,
I mean,
like,
I
like
think
the
full moon.
spaciest, trippiest, like this
I
really
don't-
like.
Nah, I don't know. I mean, I'm open for anything. You know, I mean, I don't know if
Like,
there's
okay,
anything.
for
I'm trying to
example,
think.
like you're open to the idea of extraterrestrial life.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
possibly
yeah, yeah.
Were we
occupying
born
this
from
planet?
aliens?
Now occupant. Well, I don't
Yes.
believe that in the center of the earth there's like like aliens.
No,
You're
but
wrong.
like, are we being visited?
We might. Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Okay.
You know, you can't.
But you draw the line at Hollow Earth.
Well, yeah, because I'm not so sure that's feasible, you know. But I tell you what's interesting though is that you talk about, you know, if you look at this new telescope they have out there, the James Webb Telescope, you know, they're looking at space. There's billions of galaxies, billions, and it's just it boggles the mind. It'd be hard to think that there's nothing else out there, but I don't know. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, I just don't want them to come. You know, if anything does come here, I always worry about the Twilight Zone. There's this one episode where these aliens come in and they're like, we're going to give you world peace and no disease, and it was great. Everybody's like, oh, these so nice and everything, and they says, listen, you could come to our planet and visit, you know, and they had the book and it said to serve man. Right, and it was like, oh my God, they're here to serve us, you know. And the guy's he's like, him and his girlfriend. He says, I'm going, you know, I'm going to go take a trip. And he's getting on the rocket ship, and he's walking up the stairs, and she's yelling at him, "Don't go, don't go!" And he goes, "What's the matter?" He goes, "The book, you know, it's to serve man. It's a cookbook." It's like, you know. So in the War of the Worlds, you know, I mean, they come here and they destroy us. So I'm like, yeah, but boy, I hope they're not. If they do, I hope they're nice. I mean, they might. And then you talk about, you know, are we the most? And here's the other way to look at it: are we the most intelligent things in the universe?
That
That's
scares
pretty
me
scary.
more.
Because
That
we're
scares me
friggin'
more.
Yeah, I mean,
We're stupid.
yeah.
the infinite. I don't know.
Well, what if we're like I had ants downstairs, you know, I'll spray them, I'll kill them. What if these aliens come here and they look at us and they're like, ooh, man, these things are, you know, or the War of the Worlds.
Or if they look at us killing ants and think monsters.
Right. You got to watch the one movie. There's a couple movies, War of the World, but I like the last one, Mars Attacks, and the Martians are like.
Mars
real-
Attacks
that's a
is
good
the
one.
one.
There they it's really good. They're like horny little Martians, and they. My point.
Horny
so,
little
So I don't know.
Are they
No,
hanging out with the frat dolphins?
Yeah, but as far as what I believe and don't believe, I think that full moon has been supposedly they've done studies to say the full moon doesn't affect people. But I can tell you right now, I know firsthand. I worked in the hospitals. You know, we work on the beach. When there's a full moon, it just seems like it's more crazy. ERs are more crazy. So I don't know, but I know it affects a lot of other animals in the world. They do, like you said, hermit crabs mate at that time or go find another shell. Jellyfish spawn. You know, look at the high tides we get. I mean, we work in the beach, our area. We have a 10 to 12 foot tidal change. We don't. We're there. We don't realize.
Do we know that that's the moon doing that?
Yeah, it's gravity. Yeah.
How
It's,
far is the horizon?
about 8-9 miles. Depends on how high you are. The thing is,
How far is Barnegat Light from South End?
the Barnegat Light is about. Let me see. Island Beach State Park is like 8, 9, about 10 miles.
Should be under
but-
the curve.
But Yeah, sometimes you can't see it because it's what do you call it? It's
It should be below the curve, but you can see it.
Well, I tell you what, when I used to fish,
It's not flat though.
no. But listen, he's an idiot. You can't talk to Sean. But listen, when I used to come in, I'd be out. I have my GPS. I'm coming in with my boat.
It's more than 10 miles.
But listen to me.
By the way, it's like 15.
I'd be out 30 miles coming back in, and you know what I see first before I see in a clear day before I could see the lighthouse. I could see the nuclear power plant chimney, the tower. That's higher. It's back in the bay by maybe 2 miles, But
So how far do you think the ice walls are that surround the flat Earth?
I don't know, but let me just get back to this other thing. No, but talk about the water. It's not only the moon that makes the tides; it's the spin of the Earth. And the Pacific Ocean is more water on that side, and there's actually a bulge. So the ocean bulges out more because the Earth's spinning. And so if you think about it, the Pacific Ocean bulges out a little bit more, and that has a little bit of effect on the tides. Anyway, I mean, I've seen, and it's also where you are. If you talk about how you know the Earth is round, if you go up to Maine, there's like a 30, 40, 50-foot tidal change. Maybe I'm wrong about it. I mean, it's huge. They got docks there that are up 30, 20 feet, 30 feet, and the boats are laying on the ground, because it's such a big tidal change. So anyway, I just thought that's pretty neat. Is that the end of the quiz?
Quiz over.
All right, so we did everything. We talked about everything.
You crushed it.
We crushed it today. I think it was pretty good. Nico, that was really informative. I really appreciate it. I know you do a great job over there, and hopefully,
Your mom says you're a Virgo, by the way.
Oh, Virgo.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's a
your
sign.
It's your
So
sign.
what it is that there's when you're born, there's certain celestial bodies that are in certain positions. There used to be I don't want to say a religion, but it's what is it called? Astronomy, not astronomy.
Astrology.
Which is the one I always get
It's
confused.
astrology.
And so like me, I'm Pisces. So Pisces supposed to be a water sign. I'm supposed to be into water.
You're supposed to flow.
Flow. Yeah. There's
Fire signs are like,
right.
I don't know.
Right, whether or not you're true or not. There's other. I tell you, I don't want to keep on going, but when I was in school, I studied like psychology and you talk about like if you're named like you're a Tyler, they named you Tyler, you actually become a Tyler or a Sean, and it's like a Michael or
You are definitely a Michael.
Yeah, you see how he says that now. And we could go a whole. That's why on my medical show we talk about stuff like that, like. Is it nature or nurture? Nature or nurture? Is it genes or is it, you become a Michael because people expect Michaels to do something, and then you start doing that.
It is interesting to do like little thought experiments on how like take that as an example, like Michael's acting a certain way, right? Or like the whole Karen thing.
Or Kyle's that drink Monster.
Or Kyle's that drink Monster.
Right.
How much like the steps culturally like we went through that influenced those kind of attitudes. I think that's a pretty interesting.
Well, we'll have that.
What is that? That's sociology, right?
Yeah. So anyway, let's pack it in, everyone. Get a little music here. Sean, you want to say anything you want to say, Sean? Thank you.
Like, subscribe, put on notifications, follow.
Yeah, help
All
us
of
out.
it.
Subscribe for sure on our YouTube channel. Nico, thank you very much. We're going to come back to you in a minute because you're going to say our go by message. Our go by message. Tyler, you did a great job today. I like
Go
the
by,
beard.
go by,
I
guys.
think you look so much better with a beard.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, it gives you you kind of I don't know. It just gives you really distinction. So
That was like a salty dog.
Right. I'm Dr. Kachmar. Thank you for tuning in. Again, keep following us on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can contact us at drkachmar@icloud.com. And Nico, you want to give us say our goodbye signal?
Stay out and stay alive.
Yo.
Yep. Stay out and stay alive.